Hello, welcome to the sideboard here at the StarCityGames.com Standard Open in Richmond, brought to you by Ultimate Guard. I'm Nick Miller alongside Brennan DeCandio. How you doing, sir?
Quite all right. Yourself?
Pretty good. Good to have you here.
Hey.
You've taken a departure from the decks you were playing at the Invitational.
Yeah.
You're playing a new kind of take on Jund Delirium. You know, this deck's existed before we saw it at the Pro Tour, but you got some new stuff going on in here. In particular, your red splash is enabling some cards like Dragon Lord Atarka. We've seen this before, but Arlen Cord finally getting some playing time.
I'm a fan right now. It's not great against the flying creatures at a Bant collected company, but aside from that, any kind of mirror match or any grinding matchup, it's very good. I think it killed like a couple tireless trackers just that they had to play out to play into it, and it's reasonable. I think it'll be good once rotation happens. So.
Okay, so we're trying to get some traction with that card before rotation. Of course, we have your typical kind of green-black Delirium shell.
My favorite, actually.
You've got your Advocates, your Dim Protector, your Nissa, Tireless Tracker, a bunch of removal. Of course, you're enabling Delirium with Deadweight,
just a good removal spell.
Path and Grasp to kind of get all your bases covered.
Yeah, you don't really need too many different types. Enough of 4 different ones is usually good enough, but Deadweight's just a cheap removal spell. If there's a 1-mana black removal spell that gave -1/-1, I'd probably, or -2, I'd probably play it. So.
Right. So this isn't the fill up your graveyard with Grapple and the Vessel and all that kind of stuff. You're just kind of playing this more Jund mid-range deck.
It is essentially a Jund mid-range deck in that way, with using the graveyard for the Delirium cards such as Traverse, which is great at fixing your mana early, as well as just tutoring up some insane endgame cards like Ishkana, which just is very good against the Bant collected company decks. Atarka can just wrath an entire board away or kill Planeswalkers, and of course Emrakul, which actually works really, really in a fun way with Arlen Cord.
Right, that's the big draw to this, is you get to give your Emrakul +2/+2 haste and vigilance.
Yeah.
Makes it even better than before.
Definitely does. I haven't gotten to do it yet today, but actually saw someone playing something like this at the Star City Game Night I went to on Monday, and they were doing that, and I thought it was really sweet. I didn't get really a chance to test it too much because it's only been a few days since then, but I was like, I'll give it a try. It's the last standard event, might as well, have some fun with it. So
get your Bone Chewer Giants at the game night.
Got mine.
Right now. The rest of this month. Nice little plug there. Of course, you got Liliana and Obnixilus here to round out your Planeswalker package. You've got Ishkana, which you can get with Traverse, and the underplayed, but a real heavy hitter. When it's good, it's a great type card. Gilt-Leaf Winnower.
Yeah, one thing that's been holding it back for I think the most time is the fact that it has this little weird non-elf clause to it, and I think the most the creature people point to most is Sylvan Advocate, and it is an elf, so.
Right, that creature has 4 types on it.
Yeah, I mean, the fact that it can kill Spell Queller and Tireless Tracker is really what draws me to it. Also Unflip Jaces or thing like that, but it has some utility in the Bant matchup, and costing 5 obviously we know is good because it doesn't get Spell Quellered, so.
Right, plays through Spell Queller and kills Spell Queller, so covering your bases there. Of course, hits all kinds of things like Kalitas and powerful cards all up the curve.
Deep Fiends and...
You want to, of course, kind of haste in your Emrakuls, but I feel like these decks often come to these points where they're just kind of grinding, use your graveyard for value, using cards over and over again. I can't imagine few cards being better than the Dragon Lord, because you just get to bring it back, kill something, bring it back, kill something, whereas instead of you're just bringing back a creature that is there. Usually
it's being able to kill opposing Lilianas is the best thing, because you can't really tutor for your Ruinous Paths, and you can't play too many of them because a lot of decks operate at instant speed. So having a way to just get that with your Traverses, make them kill spells as well, being able to kill Planeswalkers is really big deal. And obviously if you can get it back with Liliana, then that's amazing. But.
Okay. So where's this deck kind of rank in terms of decks that are trying to go over to the top of each other? Because there's the Elder Deep Fiend decks, there's the Emrakul decks. Where does this deck kind of sit in the metagame?
I think it's right beneath them as far as going over the top. While you can do the really powerful thing with Arlen Cord and Emrakul, you don't get there quite as fast, so you do have to fight them, and that's why cards like Transgress are even in the main deck, because fighting them can be a bit difficult, but you get some help in the sideboard, not too much, but enough to put up a good fight. And I went up to, I think, 4 Transgresses from when I was originally testing the deck last week for the regional TQ, but no, you're right beneath those emerge decks. You're not as fast, but it definitely is a bit above the other Delirium decks, I think.
Sure. And then your sideboard has, the discard spells as you mentioned, but you also have a ton of removal, so typical Jund fashion, you can mix and match which removal spells you want from, Ultimate Price, Murder, to the Slaughter, all these things, Call Against Command, you can kind of mix and match how you like. Then you have a couple other one-ofs, your Delirium targets, so you have the old Caterpillar here,
I was testing online and I kept having trouble beating the mono blue prison deck, and I just wanted a naturalized effect I could tutor for or keep getting back with Liliana, and that was the best thing, I think. So
yeah, the blue prison deck and green blue crush are kind of coming back into the fold. There's a handful of those at the top tables today.
Really?
So I was surprised to see the mono blue prison deck back in action.
It seems sweet.
Yeah.
Might as well try it.
Dim Protector, another target you can get, awesome value, and then Infinite Obliteration, just taking care of all the Eldrazi's.
Yeah, it definitely is the way to host, especially a card like Ulamog, which you can't really kill. You can to the slaughter it, but its damage has been done when you cast it. Sometimes more so than Emrakul, but it definitely, having one of them is fine.
Okay, well, you're taking kind of a brew here for a spin on the last week of this format. Have you guys on Next Route to Nexus started talking about the new set? Have you any ideas what kind of looks good starting from what we have going forward?
We have a lot of things. We're looking at all the spoilers, obviously, as they come throughout the day, even today, just discussing them in a chat. And while my approach is usually to wait until the full spoiler is out, it's always good to get a little bit ahead of the game by testing some things without complete information. But I don't know, just thinking of what's good right now and seeing this deck doesn't really lose much if you actually look at it. I think it loses Nissa and Winnower, and I think that's it, except for like Llanowar Waste. But
sure.
Taking what's good now and porting it over is a good place to start. But there are a lot of really sweet looking things in the new set, so I have no idea what to expect.
All right, maybe putting some vehicles in a Delirium shell or something?
I'm ready to cruise some ships.
All right. Well, the deck looks pretty good. You're off to an X2 start. We got one more round here in day number 1, so you're pretty sure you're locked at this point to make day 2. Looking good. The team's doing well.
I think
Thanks for joining me here in
yeah.
the sideboard.
Thank you.
Stay tuned to StarCityGames.com all week long for the action here in Richmond.